Welcome back, guys. It has been a couple days since the last Bot Royale, but I promised you guys 12 giveaways. So if you want to skip to the end of the video to see who the final 3 contenders are for the giveaway, I did 3 draws on the last video. You will catch that in a time description that I put in the description below. You can skip ahead. You can want to see just the results. Otherwise, if you guys are here for the SMG tips to make yourself a better player with the new playstyle for SMG that I'm going to have on my channel, definitely stay tuned, because I'm going to drop for you guys not only the build of the class or the rig to use, but also the playstyle and how to make your SMG gameplay more efficient. So stay tuned for that. Let's jump in and see what the class build is all about. Alright guys, so here we are at the create class section of Infinite Warfare on the multiplayer section, and we are taking a look today at the FHR-40, which is still my favorite SMG in the game, even though all of these new weapons have been introduced. I don't know if it's just my playstyle, but I'm going to show you guys the playstyle that I use today. Maybe it'll improve your game with the SMGs. Maybe it's a playstyle that you haven't considered yet. So let's take a look first, before we get into some gameplay, at the class setup. So we have the FHR-40. Now with the variants, I like to choose the rare variant requisition, just because it has that sharpshooter perk. One of the downfalls of the FHR is its range, its damage range. As you'll see later on in the clips though, with the sharpshooter perk active and even long barrel, as you will see in the attachments, it has some incredible range. So I like to use that unless I'm going for a nuke. This one has a really good perk as well, steady, that stacks with laser sight. It also plays into the build, so these are 2 viable options, but the one I like to use is requisition. Now if we look at the attachments, well, don't use a sight, because the sight equipped on it, the stock iron sights, are just like a little mini elo sight as it is, with a nice green reticle in the middle. So it is very, very good, just the standard the way it is. So putting on the first attachment, you want foregrip. It reduces that recoil down. One of the downfalls of the FHR is the fact that it fires so fast, the recoil can get away on you. It's hard to maintain that tight pattern when you're shooting at long distance. So foregrip's going to help at that ranged battle. Rifled barrel, definitely a key thing here. It's going to take you from that immediate close range to being able to win battles against the ERAD in that mid range. So definitely a necessary attachment to have when you're playing this playstyle for the SMG and the FHR-40. Last but not least, laser sight. Because of the way you're going to be aiming, as I will get to in the gameplay, laser sight is going to tighten that spread when you're hip firing. You are not always going to be aiming down sights with this gun. You will see this in the gameplay. I will show you, I will talk about it, so we'll get into that in just a minute. Now, going on to the perks, perk 1 tree, we have Ghost. Very important, because UAVs are always up in the air. You could substitute it for blind eye. I usually get pissed off when people you know, put those wardens in the air and you cannot stay outside. You get absolutely destroyed. So you could substitute it for that, simply because you're going to be moving so fast that Ghost isn't going to be completely viable, but I still like to have it on. I like to stay off the radar completely. You know, that's why often I'll use suppressor in competitive matches, but for this public match, like just absolutely destructive SMG gameplay, this is the one that I like to use, is Ghost. And with that, dexterity is very, very crucial. SMGs already have a very fast reload. With dexterity, it is almost instantaneous. Because of the small clip that the FHR has, you want to have dexterity on, so that after each kill, unless there's a double kill available, you are going to be firing off that reload, hitting the X button and getting that magazine refilled. Last but not least, our perk 2 and 3, we have Scavenger in perk 2, and we have Dead Silence in perk 3. Scavenger, because you're not going to be using Man-at-Arms rig, just because I don't like to use it. It's a little slower than usual. You already are using an SMG, which is the fastest moving gun in the game. You know, I think besides the pistol or whatnot, but that's why you don't really need man-at-arms. But we're going to be looking at Dead Silence, another key perk. You don't have to use it. I like to use it, but you could substitute it for Gung Ho. Gung Ho is going to allow you to have that sprint mobility, to be able to fire your SMG hip fire or aiming in while you're sprinting. So it's gonna be a good perk to have, either Gung Ho or Dead Silence. Those are really the only options in that perk 3 tree. But this is the class setup. Now moving on, we have Combat Rig, the one that I like to use. I said you can use the Merc with Man-at-Arms, but you're going to be losing that benefit of having you know, full speed, because you're already using an SMG, and you can really only benefit from this Man-at-Arms perk, which is going to give you a you know, full ammunition and whatnot. So I wouldn't use this. The one that I like to use for my playstyle and the SMGs is the Synaptic, not only because its hit boxes were kind of, you know, OP is just crazy. You couldn't hit them, in their hitboxes were smaller than the other rigs. I think that's been patched now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like to use Rewind, as you will see in some gameplay in just a minute, and Propulsion. Getting that jumping ability back, that boosting ability back as fast as possible is key for this build. You're going to be moving so fast, you want to be jumping in and out of battles with Propulsion, and you know what, the odd kill that you can get with it from someone being underneath you just helps out all the more. So let's get into some score streaks. Not as important, you can use whatever score streaks you want. I like to use UAV, counter, and advanced in you know, many situations, just because when you're moving this fast, you want to have all the radar you can get, because you are going to be relying on your weapon. But if you want to run Warden or any of these other you know, score streaks that you don't really have to monitor, then you can definitely do that too. But I just like the ones that I can just pop on the fly and keep moving, and the radar will help me out even more with advanced. So that's what I like to use. But I think right now I have Scorchers on, so we'll take that off and put on counter. But that is the setup that I like to use. So let's get into some gameplay so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about when you consider the style of play you are going to be doing with this FHR 40. So let's dive into a little game, little team deathmatch here on Grounded. So we are on Grounded here with a little TDM, and going to show you guys the playstyle of the FH40 that I use. So let's get right into it. We are going to push here and show you that you want to keep moving. You want to aim in when enemies are at a long range, but as you can see here, hip fire when they are approaching you unexpectedly. That laser sight is going to tighten the pattern. So this is going to show you guys that you're moving very quickly, and you have to judge when you are aiming in and when you are just going to have that quick hip fire. So I'm going to break down 3 things for you guys in this video. 1 is obviously the movement, as I've already briefly discussed. 2 is when to aim out and aim in with this SMG, because you are going to be using both. And last but not least is just the awareness, you know, knowing not to go into huge gaps because you do not have a long range gun. As you will see later in the video, it does have great range, but you don't want to rely on it. You only want to use that when you have to. I mean, that range right there is not bad. A quick kill if you can get a pre-aim on a doorway and you know somebody is in there. But frankly, you want to keep moving, jumping in and out of lanes, and as you see here, using Rewind to get out of tight situations where you can't move otherwise. You know you'll get shot, but I was able to rewind out of there, get back into this hallway. You want to play in tight quarters like I am, and you want to jump in and out. You get hit, you want to jump out of the lane of fire and continue on with your streaks. That's why propulsion is huge, and that's why you don't want to be using, you know, man-at-arms, because that's what I mean by it's a faster rig. The ability to jump in and out of battles and always have that at the ready is crucial for this build. So like I said, you want to keep moving, you want to be moving fast, you want to be following your radar, seeing if there's a guy in this tunnel and jumping in. You want to be aware of where your enemies are spawning, where you're killing the enemies, and where to rotate to next. I wouldn't push out here. Like I said, I'm waiting here at the long distance, but as you can see, you don't want to challenge anything at range, because you will get beat. They often have, you know, either an assault rifle, a sniper rifle, or even the ERAD for that matter. But as you can see, you want to take the outside wall runs in as many situations as you can. You want to flank the enemy. You don't want to be attacking them head on if you don't have to. This gun will beat many guns head on if you are in close range, but any mid-range to long-range battle, you do not want to push head on. You want to either flank them and use speed to your advantage. This is the whole point of this build. You can challenge enemies. As you see here, he was looking out the window. I wasn't aware that I was below him, so you take the other doorway. It's all about that awareness. It is a little bit tougher of a playstyle simply because you do have to have that awareness, but like you see there, I saw that guy go into his special, and I knew he was going to pop up somewhere in this building, so I backed out into the corner, waited till he appeared there, and took him out. So it's all about having that awareness and keeping your rig moving, and approaching people, like just as you saw there, with speed and from as high as you possibly can. You don't want to ever give somebody an easy target. You always want to be jumping in and out of battle and approaching people from, you know, as high as you can, so that they have to aim up. If they have to move their cursor or their reticle up, that's just an extra half a second that you have to be able to aim and lock it in. But as you see, there's a perfect example of how I was gonna scope in, but as soon as he slid by me, I had to let go of the trigger in order to take advantage of that faster aiming when you are not ADS, aiming down sights. And that's what you got to know. You are able to challenge with this gun very, very effectively like that. If you see people in a gun battle, this gun can take out enemies very quickly. So you want to use that to your advantage as well. And that's why it's such a fast play style. As you see here, making use of that radar, seeing that there's a guy out here on the left. But if you're able to get all of these little tips and tricks and skills together, you can have yourself one awesome SMG game style and class to use in your TDMs. Alright guys, so I promised you guys 12 giveaways, so I owe you 3 more. So on the second last Bot Royale video, I am going to be drawing 3 names from everybody who voted. Now, obviously there's a few people in here that have already won, so you will not be included. If you win, I will redraw, just because I told everybody that in the 12 days of giveaways, you can only win once. Gives everybody a fair chance, but once we get back to the next Bot Royale next week, everybody is eligible again. In the regular Bot Royale, only the person that won the week before is not eligible. Second week, they are back to being eligible to win that. So let's dive in. And also top 5, some people wanted top 5 to come back, so I am reintroducing it next week. Even if I don't have 5 submissions from any FPS game in the email that's in the description below, remember, you guys submit your clips if you want to win a $20 gift card that way as well. If I do not have enough clips, I will submit some famously awful clips of myself in Call of Duty to round it off. Obviously, I will not be eligible to win, only the submissions will, but there has to be more than one. There has to be at least 2 submissions in order to win that top 5. So without further ado, let's get into the votes. We are picking 3 today. Let's take a look and see who the first winner is. Number 1 is going to go to ONZ Yoshi. Congratulations on the first prize for that last Bot Royale. Moving on to number 2. Oh, also make sure you tweet me that you won. Tweet me your name from YouTube so I know it's you, and we can get a DM conversation going. I'll follow you, you follow me, and we'll get that settled to see which console, which country I'm sending that card to. So number 2 for this giveaway spree actually is going to be Jamie Cadellos. Now, congratulations to you. This is a big win for you, and definitely hit me up on Twitter as well. Now, moving on to number 3. Let's see if we can get one more. And the winner of today is actually Terry Trues. I know that's you, my man. We love Papa. You did win already, so we are going to draw one more time. And let's see, who is it going to be? Oh, Kiki da Kiwi. Oh my goodness. congratulations. So Yoshi, Jamie, and Kiki the Kiwi, hit me up on Twitter, collect your prize. But also, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the tips, drop a thumbs up. If you want more tips, let me know, and I will get those up on the channel. Stay tuned for some Rainbow Six too. I've been playing that game. It is absolutely amazing if you haven't played it. So I will be dropping some tips on the channel for that game as well. One of the best FPS shooters I've ever played. But thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, stay on the bean. You do you. Live life your way, because that's the way it's meant to be. Cheers, you beauties.